In the aftermath of the death of Hugo Chavez, conspiracy theories are flying around about whether the Venezuelan leader's death could have been chemically induced by means of an exotic cancer bioweapon. Hugo Chavez himself once speculated that the United States had a cancer weapon after being diagnosed with the disease in 2011. Would it be so strange that they've invented the technology to spread cancer and we won't know about it for 50 years, he stated. Chavez added that Fidel Castro warned him to be careful of such a plot. These people have technology, a little needle, and they inject you with I don't know what, Castro told Chavez. The Castro connection is interesting given the claims of Judith Baker, who says she was informed by alleged JFK murder accomplice David Ferry about a secret government assassination plot against Fidel Castro centering around an attempt to inject the Cuban leader with a cancer virus. We know for a fact that the early polio vaccines were infected with simian virus 40, SV40, originating from minced rhesus monkey kidneys, and that many of the soft tissue cancers over the last 50 years can be attributed to this tainted vaccine. Dr. Mary Sherman, who claims she was selected to help the government conduct secret research into the weaponization of cancer via the SV40 virus, was later found brutally murdered in her apartment. Her claims are documented in the book Dr. Mary's Monkey by Edward T. Haslam. So while there remains no direct hard evidence that Chavez was killed by weaponized cancer, it would be naive to think that the CIA didn't consider every possible means of assassinating the firebrand socialist leader, especially given the documented attempts on his life which occurred around the time of the 2002 coup. Attempts which were documented by historian William Blum and of course BBC investigative reporter Greg Palast. A few hours before Chavez's death was announced, Venezuela's Vice President Nicolas Maduro spoke about an imperialist plot to assassinate Chavez, alleging that Yasser Arafat had also been, quote, inoculated with an illness. And in fact, there is some evidence to suggest, as shown in this New Scientist report, that Arafat was indeed poisoned using a radioactive substance. And now Russian Communist Party leader, second biggest party in Russia, Gennady Zyuganov, is spouting similar rhetoric calling for an international investigation into Chavez's death. How did it happen that 6 leaders of Latin American countries which had criticised US policies and tried to create an influential alliance in order to be independent and sovereign states fell ill simultaneously with the same disease, Zyuganov told Russian state television, referring to other leaders such as Brazil's current president Dilma Rousseff, Paraguay's Fernando Lugo, and the former Brazilian leader Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, all of whom developed cancer in recent years. He also makes reference to Argentinian President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, who was diagnosed with thyroid cancer back in December 2012, although later analysis proved that she had never actually suffered from the illness. So was Hugo Chavez killed by an exotic bioweapon, a form of weaponized cancer? While there's no hard evidence at this time, the poisoning of Alexander Litvinenko, who was almost certainly killed by Russian intelligence agents, reminds us that this is a common tool of covert state-sponsored assassination. This is Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.